Hello, everyone. This is Thomas Pepin NHL Talk. I'm Thomas Pepin, and let's talk about the NHL. So, in today's stream, the regular recap of, I guess, a time period, because I don't really have a consistent schedule. So, in this case, it's recapping the second round of these Stanley Cup Playoffs. As well as the news that took place during that time frame, and then finally giving my predictions for the next round, the third round. So I guess let's get to it. So as always, no prep work except for, well, gathering links and stuff. So this is all done on the spot. So I don't even know what I'm going to say. I mean, I know the topics, but I don't know necessarily everything about what's going on. So first, I should say thanks for BC gamers leaving those comments. Unfortunately, you left those comments when Vancouver was still in, and they're no longer in. So sorry for that, but that's how it goes. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to go into any crazy detail. Everybody knows the results, and I post the scores and where series are at during the round. So, I mean, if you want to see highlights, that's something you can go take a look at and more details on the series. But just generally speaking of the series here. So, as we can see, Florida beat Boston, Rangers beat Carolina, Dallas beat Colorado, and Edmonton beat Vancouver. So, of my predictions, I had Florida winning, Carolina winning, so I got that one wrong. But that became a lot closer than expected after the start. Dallas I got right, and Edmonton I got right. So 3 for 4 in that round, which isn't, I mean, you should at that point, I would say, maybe I'm being hard on myself, but I would say you should be four for 4. But that being said, I mean, you're filtering down to the better team, so it's really pretty close. And in the case of New York and Carolina, I think I said in my predictions that it was going to be a coin flip, and it didn't work out that way. In the end, it kind of worked out that way in the end, but at least to the start of the series, it wasn't the case. But anyways, so let's head down to second round. So Florida beat Boston 4-2. I thought it was actually going to be probably, well, I don't know if I said this in my predictions, but my gut tells me I would have predicted it to be 4-1. I mean, it's really not much of a difference, but, and for Boston to win the first game, I was maybe surprised. I guess Florida was off for a bit. How quick was their previous series? 4-1. So maybe a bit of a break. Start a bit flat-footed. So in any case, so Florida won 4-2. Went Boston, Florida, 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 Boston, Florida. So, yeah, in any case, as I expected, Florida would win. They're a much deeper team in all positions. Maybe goaltending, you could argue Boston had a better team, but yeah, I mean, you got to score, you got to defend, and I was pretty confident that Florida would be the better team. So, if you take a look at the scores, though, it was quite close, minus the first 2 games first 3 games. Then it was pretty close from there onward. But again, like I kind of just said, it's to be expected once you get to the better teams. Next series, the one that I got wrong, and that was kind of wild on a whole bunch of different fronts. Rangers beat Carolina 4-2. It went Rangers, 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 which is why I was saying it was closer than originally started, like it would have been. So to get up 3-0, you're in pretty good shape. That being said, they're all 1-goal games, 2 of which are OT games. So it really was a close series. And then from there, Carolina wins twice. So in a 1-goal game, and I think that was a late goal, if I'm not mistaken, in game 4. But so it was basically almost going to overtime, if I remember correctly. And then Carolina wins again. So they're right back in the series. If they won that 6th game, they could have been one of those teams that pulls off that crazy coming back from 4-0, but they didn't win. So yeah, anyways, Rangers are looking good. They're going to have a tough round against Florida. And then if they can go on, then whoever they would face from the West. Moving over to the West, Dallas versus Colorado. So Colorado took game 1 in OT. Well, I should say Dallas won the series 4-2. Colorado was 1, Dallas 2, 3, 4. Colorado 5, Dallas 6. So once you get up 3-1, you're in really good shape. I was going to say, yeah, they couldn't have been flat-footed because they had a long series against Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. So it couldn't have been that. Maybe a bit of fatigue, but I mean, hey, they got a deep team and they should have been able to come out of it. So, yeah, anyways, and then going up 3-1, then they're, like I said, in great shape. So Colorado gave him a run. But, I mean, it was kind of, you could say maybe slightly close, but I think Dallas was the clear winner in that one. And then finally, Vancouver Edmonton. I never, ever would have guessed it for it to go to 7 games. I didn't think Vancouver was a good team at all. And, I mean, they had a great season, obviously, and, you have to be a good team to do that. But I just didn't think they were a good enough team to compete with Edmonton. The problem, so something I spoke about with people before, Edmonton is very top heavy. So if your top scorers are not doing all the work, basically you're in trouble, and you can't expect them to always do all the work all the time. I mean, their team's a bit deeper this go around, both on forward and defense. More experience too, I guess. So, I mean, given all those factors, I thought Edmonton would just run away with the series, but it was like, well, Vancouver, Edmonton, Vancouver, Edmonton, Vancouver, Edmonton, Edmonton. Like, very close most games. So, I'm just surprised that it went to 7, and I'm surprised that Vancouver played so well. So, anyways, so Edmonton comes out with it. But it doesn't give me much confidence that Edmonton's going to come out of the next one against Dallas, a really tough team. So, anyways, that's basically it for the second round. Again, if you want to see highlights and more details, you can go and look those things up ourselves. Yeah, I guess let's get to the news. So it's funny because the last stream recapping the first round was on the day when the lottery took place, and I couldn't hang around to actually hear the results. So starting off with that, so San Jose won the lottery. I think they had the best odds anyways. And then so the top 16 picks is as you see here. And not much more to say than that. And, well, as previously, a lot of times the news is just a fact and then that's it. Because I'm not a sensationalist kind of person on a lot of this stuff. I'm not going to be talking about, oh, Matthew sucks and he doesn't deserve this kind of stuff to whatever. I try to just report. And then if I have opinions and stuff, I'll share them, but nothing. I don't give false opinions to try to make things more exciting, which probably hurts me, but whatever. I'm not like that, whatever, that guy that always talks about Toronto. That's just a complete, no offense to him, lunatic. Yes, you make it exciting and, maybe entertaining and people like it, but God, I can't. People that are too high strung just stress me out. So, anyways, Kucherov, Matthews, and MacKinnon are up for the Ted Lindsay Award. That's from the players voting who the best player is for the year. Yeah. So that's that. Sheldon Keefe got fired. See, this is the thing about doing things a bit late. You're a bit late to. Everybody would have heard this news, but it's also good. I think I've said before to have everything from a time period all together. So if you miss something, you can catch up with everything. And what's funny is, I think I watched him play junior with the Colts when I lived in Barrie. But anyways, that's besides the point. So, it did extremely well, looks like, in the AHL. You could argue the exact same thing in the NHL and then got fired. Now, that's regular season performance, playoff performance, not so much. And now, I don't think it's his fault. I think the team composition, so like the roster as well as composition of the roster, is the problem. I think it's a management problem in Toronto. I don't think it's a coaching problem. So, and the funny thing, obviously I'm not going to go and get hired as a GM from doing YouTube streams, but I hate how organizations always hire, veteran, experienced GMs, coaches. It's the same thing for everything, but coaches, sometimes you can justify it. GMs, if you're not producing results, actually it's the same for coaches. No matter what, if you're not producing results, why are you hiring the people? Like Tree Living in Toronto, yeah, we got a great experience. Yeah, people are just scared of getting fired, so they hire the safe option. And it's just like you're never going to accomplish anything if you always go with the safe option. So anyways, long story short, I just think Toronto has had poor management. They've made poor decisions. Burke, I actually, funny enough, didn't dislike because he swung for the fences at least. Did he succeed? Not really, but still. Actually, you know what? I want to go check his. When was he GM? General manager 08 to 2013. Okay, so 08 to 2013. So he had to turn the organization around and didn't. Okay, so I stand corrected. But nonetheless, my point about him swinging for the fences, I think, is valid. So you got to try stuff or else nothing's going to happen. And he tried stuff, whereas like all these other guys are just going to do the generic stuff and they're going to do okay, maybe get to the first round, second round, but that's it. So anyways, coming back to the original thing, I don't think it's the coach. Clearly his record's great. They were kind of a regular season team, so is it him or is it the team? Is it both? Who knows? But I think clearly he's a good enough coach. Wherever he goes, I think they're going to be fortunate to have him. So I think, of course, you don't know. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, anyways, he got fired. Really, it's a management thing, in my opinion. Okay, so I guess maybe interesting. So Utah narrowed down their names to 20. They have a survey. Doesn't tell us the current situation, I guess. Utah Black Diamonds, no. Blast, no. Blizzard, maybe. Canyons, yuck. Caribou, no. Utah Freeze, not bad. Utah Frost, not bad. Utah Fury is not bad, but I'd say that's not what I'd like. Utah Glaciers, no. Utah HC, no way. It's not soccer. Utah Hive, no. Utah Ice, I like. I really like that one. Who? Somebody else had that name before, I think. I can't remember who, but I like that name probably the most so far. Mammoth, no. Mountaineers, no. Outlaws, like Utah's not an outlaw place. Powder, no. Squall, no. Swarm, no. Venom, no. Yeti, I don't mind, but nah, I think it's Utah Ice. That's my preference. Utah Blizzard, I don't mind. I don't really like many of those names. But anyways, so that's the situation there. It's cool. Like I said, this is all done on the spot, so I actually didn't know these things, and you got to see my reaction live. So, all right, Trouba wins Mark Messier Leadership Award for player who exemplifies great leadership qualities to his team on and off the ice during the regular season and who plays a leading role in his community growing the game of hockey. I mean, I don't know how much you grow the game of hockey in New York. I think it's already big. I guess it's got opportunities, but anyways, good for him. And I didn't know that he was good in the community. That's news to me. This one was kind of crazy. Nichushkin is banned for 6 months for failing a drug test connected to the player assistance program. Now, I don't like to talk about personal issues. So, besides just saying that took place, I'm not going to go into anything. It's just kind of crazy, and it's during the playoffs. It kind of sucked for them because they missed him. I don't know if he had missed anything until he got suspended, or he was playing. Because I thought he was playing straight through. I'm pretty sure he's one of their leading producers. So, anyways, kind of wild. Makes you wonder what the drug situation was, but again, I don't want to get into that stuff. It's his own stuff to deal with, and he doesn't need anybody else bugging him about it, which of course the media is going to do, but I'm not going to. So Ingram of the Coyotes won the Masterton Trophy. This is where I thought Anderson should have deserved it. And maybe I'm insensitive, but it was mental health related, why he was missing hockey. And then I was just arguing that it's everybody deals with mental health issues. Yes, I know some more extreme than others. And yes, on the extreme end, it can be as debilitating or maybe even more debilitating than physical issues, but I just would argue go with physical stuff because everybody deals with mental. Not everybody deals with blood clots like and other issues that Anderson had. So anyways, those are my thoughts, but good for him coming back and then also winning that trophy. I'm not trying to put him down or minimize, obviously mental health issues. I'm very aware of it, of the issues. But anyways, nonetheless, I'm allowed to have an opinion. Those are my thoughts. But yeah, good for him. This one, so I don't usually talk about signings that are less than $5 million, but this one's interesting. So one of the top performers in the KHL signed with the Islanders, 1 year entry-level contract. I don't know what the amount he got signed for, but we'll see that later. He had 47 points in 65 games, 31 of those goals in the KHL, which is pretty crazy. Now, he doesn't have too much of a high performance track record. It's the first season that he did that. So, and he's 25, so who knows if it's like, if he'll be able to like reproduce that in the NHL or if it's just a one-off. But it's only a 1 year contract, so it's no risk. But that, I thought it was pretty cool. Can it tell me? I want to know the leading point getters. So I'm just wondering where he ranked in the whole league for points. Points, I want regular season. Is that the guy? No. So he wasn't one of the top producers, but he was pretty close. Maybe not so close. And then by goals, where did he sit? He was fourth in goals. So, yeah, I mean, it's just interesting, like a pretty good performer going over to the NHL. We'll see what happens. And Islanders could use the help, I guess. So, next up, Leafs hired Berube as a replacement for Keefe. And how did he do? I know as a player he was quite good. For his job, at least. So let's see here. So he Did okay with Philly, maybe not the best. Did great in the AHL in one season. Won the championship in his first year with St. Louis as the head coach. First round, second round, missed the playoffs. So again, it's one of those, in my opinion, you're going with a known commodity as opposed to trying to do something big and unique. So now adding a stabilizing force to Toronto, would that improve the team? I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll get less out of players because there's too much by the book stuff. So if you go by the book too much and you don't allow for just creativity, then maybe they won't produce as much. But I don't know what they're going to do with their roster. There's a whole bunch of different things going on. But again, it's the safe decision. Like I would predict that Toronto's going to pretty much do about the same. And then he's going to get fired. Shanahan should get fired and so on. So Shanahan probably should have been fired already. And then they brought in the GM that they brought in. So what I would hope for, I mean, not to hope for people to fail, but based on past performance, I would argue Toronto fans should hope for Shanahan to get fired, the new guy to get a better GM, and then fix the team. That's a long ways away for things to actually get corrected. Mind you have a lot of assets at the moment, so maybe it could be expedited, but yeah, and I don't have any faith that any of this stuff's going to happen. So tough for Leafs fans. It doesn't look too promising. Simple piece of news. Mike Sullivan's going to be the head coach of the U.S. Four Nations team as well as Olympics team in 2026. Not much more to say than that. He's been a great coach in Pittsburgh, so not surprised. This, Brendan Moore was saying, I haven't gotten a contract, and it was probably made out to be more than it actually was. But anyways, Brendan Moore extended for 5 years as coach. I feel like he's been a good coach. I don't know if it's just that he's had a good team, but I think his team wasn't always the best, and I think he got a lot out of them. Yeah, like, look, I don't know. Again, I don't know what his rosters were, but third round, first round, second round, third round. So, that's a great track record. Regular season's great. So, for me, it's a no-brainer. I thought they should have done better these playoffs. Mind you, they came up against New York, and like I said, it was kind of a coin flip. So sometimes you just you hit a hard team and you can't get past them. But anyways, yeah, smart signing, extension, whatever you want to call it. Good for Carolina. I think they're going to be good for a long time. I didn't realize. I thought trophy winners take place after the season. But anyways, Barkov won the Selke Trophy over Matthews and Stahl. And I made the argument that you have to, so just defensively, maybe you could argue Stahl was there. Just offensively, it would have been Matthews, but the combination of the two, I think, is what's most important. And I think it's clearly Barkov. So, anyways, so I'm not surprised, and that's what I was predicting. I feel maybe this isn't something that anybody cares about, but so Rob DeMaio, is hired as director of player personnel in Ottawa. The only reason I guess I would probably mention this anyways, but the biggest reason why I want to just very briefly talk about this is I feel like Ottawa's just digging a hole. So I didn't like the Green hiring as a coach. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe I'm wrong to say, but he, like assistant GM with Anaheim and was GM of their AHL affiliate. Anaheim's been garbage for a long time. I mean, okay, so he was only there 2 seasons, but nonetheless, Anaheim's garbage. And it's like they should have traded their goalie a while ago when he was playing great to get assets back. Maybe he prevented them. I don't know if he had like no trade clauses or whatever. But man, just Anaheim has been garbage. And I don't know, like they're bringing in people that I don't think are going to be good. And who's their GM at the moment? Steos. Yeah, that was the same thing. I don't know if I feel like this team's going to be garbage and they're getting worse. Maybe I'll be wrong. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But it just feels, I don't know. Doesn't feel like they're going to do well. And they've had like these little opportunities to do well and have had good rosters, and then they just blow up. And I don't know what's going on with Ottawa. And it makes me wonder if they're going to be able to afford the team or have to relocate at some point. Because they've always struggled, I think, with like tickets and all that kind of stuff. But anyways. Last piece of news. Lightning acquired McDonough and a 4th-round pick for a 2nd and a 7th. So Nashville gets the 2nd and 7th. Tampa gets McDonough and the 4th. Since that's the only trade, I'll actually move this up so I can take a closer look at it. So he has 2 years left. He is 34, so he's still at a good age. Did actually quite well last season compared to previous seasons, like in recent history. 32 points in 74 games. Tampa really needs another defenseman. So in my opinion, that's a huge pickup for Tampa. That makes them back to more competitive, where I would have argued, or I did argue this season that they weren't good enough to get past the first round, whereas now I think adding him back in, I think they're back to where they have a shot again. How they can afford him exactly, I don't know. He's not expensive. It's just they got a lot to sort out. Duclair, they're probably not going to, or maybe aren't going to keep. Stamkos. And I'm just talking about like cap space. So what, they're at 72, 82 cap. I don't know I forget what it's going up to, but they're at the cap, bringing McDonough back, and they still have Stamkos theoretically to sign. So, man, so it feels like they're not going to be able to keep Stamkos. Like, I don't know how they would ever be able to keep Stamkos unless he stays for like $1 million or something crazy. I don't know. I think their team's better. I would rather pick up a defenseman and not have Stamkos. No offense to Stamkos. And clearly he's very important. I just think their defense was too weak to be able to go far. Whereas adding So losing Stamkos, adding McDonough, I think makes them a stronger team because they've got enough productivity. I think with Kucherov, Point, Hagels, Chiarelli, Paul. I don't know how Janot did there. Yeah, not much. Way less than they were probably expecting. But anyways, I just think they're a better team doing that. All right, we had one suspension since the last recap one. So Susie, I think is how you pronounce it, got suspended 1 game for cross-checking McDavid. And I think Zadorov got fined for cross-checking McDavid. So you can see actually in the picture, I won't show the video because I don't want any copyright claims, but Zadorov cross-checks him from behind. Susie cross-checks him from the front. I shouldn't be laughing because it's brutal for McDavid. But it just shows you how people go after McDavid because he's a star. It's kind of sad. Those, like, I guess you got to get under his skin and maybe try to hurt him. But it's so, I don't think that's any good. Clearly. But anyways. So that's that. When was the last stream? I can't remember. Where is it? What's the date? May 7th. So injuries, like, I won't talk about the players that are not in the playoffs because it's not really relevant. So all those guys are out. Hintz is injured. And the other problem is with playoffs, they don't typically disclose the injury or for how long. So upper body for Hintz, don't know how long. Lower body for Akanpa, if that's how you pronounce his name. Should be back for this round, if not soon. And then that's basically it. Oh, and Henrique, ankle injuries. He's been out for a bit, so we'll see what happens there. No waiver stuff. There was a bunch of signings, but I don't think anything of great significance. Where's Siplikov? 950,000. That's super cheap. So that's great. Like low risk, and then if he plays well, then you can extend him. I bet the Russian goalies helped a bit to get him there. And then, I mean, I don't know who else. If there's any other Russians on the team, I think there's maybe a couple. But anyways, I bet you the Russians got him to, the Russians on the team got him to come over. So good for them. Great signing. Then otherwise there's no major signings. Everybody's below 5 million, so I won't really speak to any of those. Scores, I don't think there was any crazy scores in the previous round. I mean, 5-4 is high scoring, just not lopsided. 6-2 Panthers over Bruins. No, so not really anything too crazy. So can I make this? There we go. So for points, Draisaitl's leading the way with McDavid right behind him. Bouchard doing crazy good, 20 points as a defenseman. So it's all Edmonton. So basically, they're just outscoring their competition. Is how it looks. Mind you, they've also played more games, so I guess it's a bit misleading. And then otherwise, there's some other guys there. A bunch of guys tied for 6th place. Yeah, Nichushkin was second in goals. Sucks for... I mean, if he was there, I don't think Colorado would have won anyways, but still, it's a big loss. Hyman leading the way in goals, which is wild because... Was he in the points? Wasn't even in the points, so he's just scoring. Good for him. Goals against average, most of these guys are eliminated. Ottinger's highest for active. Pickard. I forget how he's pronounced. Bobrovsky. There's not many goalies left, so. Shesterkin on the save percentage, good for him. Like, he's doing quite well. Was he there? Yeah, he's not even there on goals against. So he gets scored on a lot, but save percentage is outstanding. Ottinger's pretty close. And that's about it. All right, and then, so that covers all the news. Last is my predictions. So, yeah, so I went 3 for 4 in that round. I forget what I was in the first round. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 8 in the first round, I think. So Vancouver I got wrong because I predicted a weird upset with Nashville, and then Winnipeg, and I got that one wrong. So in this round, man, that floor, they're both basically coin flips. Let's go take a look at team stats, because we don't want playoffs, we want a larger sample size. So, goals for per game. Dallas is the highest of the remaining teams, ahead of Edmonton, surprisingly. And their goal differential is just a smidge better. So between them two, there's that, but it's basically, again, it's a coin flip. Power play, Edmonton has a slight advantage. Penalty kill, Dallas has a slight advantage. I previously would have maybe thought that Edmonton could do it, but now I don't know anymore. I think Dallas is more stable, more deep. Edmonton's more high end. So just, if Edmonton can turn it into a track meet where they just like score a whole bunch, then great. But I just think Dallas, and it's what, DeBoer is their coach, I think. I think he's just too good of a coach to lose to Edmonton, whereas the Edmonton coach is not experienced. So I feel like Dallas is going to win. It's probably going to be really close. It's probably going to go to like a game 6 or 7, all close games. Maybe Edmonton's going to have a blowout here and there, but then Dallas is going to closely win the other games. So I'm guessing, like I said, I don't typically predict number of games, but I think at this point it kind of makes sense to, just to give you an idea of exactly how close I think it's going to be. So 6 or 7 games, Dallas wins, I think. I think they have too many good forward lines. Defense isn't necessarily the best. They're missing hints. It kind of also depends on how quickly he gets back. I still think they're deeper, probably better coached. So, and when it's a coin flip, I'd rather choose a team with a better penalty kill than a power play. because goals are going to be harder to come by, I think, especially with the matchup. And yeah, so I think it's going to be Dallas. It's going to probably be really close, but I think Dallas in 6 or 7 games. It could even, I mean, Dallas could easily, just as win in 5 games. You never know, and it's a coin flip. So even Edmonton, if they just outscore them every game, they could win in 5 games. Who knows? But I'm gonna say Dallas in 6 or 7. Then on the east side, we have Rangers versus. Where's Florida? There's Florida. So Rangers are higher scoring by 0.17. Less. Did I do that right? Sorry. 0.16. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong row. And then goals against, they're worse by 0.35. Power play, Rangers are a bit better. Penalty kill, Rangers are a bit better. Who's the coach in New York? Is it Laviolette? Yeah, he's a great coach. Maurice, I think, is a good coach. I don't know. Panthers have this swagger about them. They had it last season, but injuries got them. This year, I don't think they're nearly as hurt. I think Panthers are going to win. And it might actually not even be a close, it probably will be a close series. But I could easily see, I think Panthers are the better team enough where I'm pretty, obviously not, can't be too confident, but I'm pretty confident Panthers are going to win. So probably Panthers in 5 or I have to say 6. 5's probably too quick, but it could happen. 7, I don't think it's going to go to 7, but it could. So Panthers in 6 is what I'll say. But it's probably going to be another close series. Cool. I think I covered everything I was going to. Just give me a quick sec to verify. Yeah, so that's everything. Cool. So then that's where we'll leave it. If you like the stream, hit the like button, share with your friends, subscribe, turn on notifications. The channel page has upcoming streams on regular NHL content. I forgot, just as I was about to start the stream, I forgot that I should have set up the one for the next stream, because now I have to go and delete some of the stuff that I wrote. It's just more work for me. Nothing too crazy, but whatever. Anyways, so I'll post that, but again, it's going to be after the next round, so probably a week and a half or something like that. Could be 2 weeks. Depends on how long the round goes. Actually, it's probably more towards 2 weeks. And then, of course, that's going to cover the news during that time frame. Recap the series briefly like I did. And yeah, so that'll be soon. Franchise mode, that schedule's in the About section of the channel. It's only Mondays now, 10:30 a.m. Eastern for about 8 hours. This Monday I did miss it, and then I haven't had the chance yet to finish the season and series. It would be as well. So we're in the playoffs. We just got to the second round. 25th season with the team. I think I'm at, what was it, 12 Stanley Cups? It's a good question. I can't remember. Let's go look. Where is it here? $11 Stanley Cups. So I'm trying to get my 12th in this season to make me just shy of 50%, which was my goal before the series. Now, that being said, just again, I don't know if anybody would watch this and also watch the franchise mode streams, but don't forget that I haven't owned this game I haven't owned any games since NHL 14. I haven't played the game for probably I don't know, 6 to 8 years. And then I go in first time after I played, I think, 2 seasons to just learn some stuff. And then I pulled this off, which I don't think anybody's done in all of YouTube. And never missed the playoffs in 25 seasons, 20 President's trophies, 14 Prince of Wales trophies, 11 Stanley Cups. That's pretty ridiculous. So anyways, didn't meet my goal, but all things considered, you can't really complain about those stats. But I'll recap that probably in a stream specifically to recap the series. But long story short, I haven't had the chance to finish the series, and I'm going to try to get it done before Monday so that come Monday I can start the new series where I'm doing an expansion team. But it's going to amount to pretty much the same. Just now I can apply all the things that I've learned and hopefully do better. So anyways, that's that. Be a pros whenever I have time or feel like it, which I haven't had any time to even consider playing it. I haven't felt like it too much, but I maybe would like to play sometime soon. Yeah. Any comments? Leave them in the comments, suggestions likewise, and we will see you guys. Today is Wednesday. Maybe tomorrow I'll have time to finish the series. Might be Friday. I don't know. We'll see. But tomorrow or Friday, I think I'll be able to finish the franchise mode series. So anyways, that's it. So see you guys whenever I can. Keep bye.